Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Alex. I'm here at Audio in San Francisco for SOHMI's first headlining set in San Francisco. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little chilly, but we are in San Francisco, and I guess that was to be expected, and it's my fault for not wearing a jacket.
Yeah, it's never warm here. Ever.
Right.
Maybe in October.
Okay, yeah.
For like 2 weeks. And that's it.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and then we're going to do something fun that I like to call the speed round.
Okay, that sounds scary.
I'm just going to ask you like some really random fun questions,
Okay.
and then we're going to do it. And it's going to be fun. I promise.
Okay.
So the first thing I want to talk to you about is a personal connection that I have with your background.
Ah, okay.
You talked in an interview about being in choir and singing since you were a little kid, and I was actually in a boys choir when I was from the 7 to 17, and then I was in like concert choirs and like high school choirs and show choir and jazz choir, every choir that you could be in.
Every choir. That was me.
Until college.
Yes.
I'm fascinated by this point because I understand that like being interested, like understanding music theory may not necessarily play into what you do now, but it's like inherent, like it's something that you think about. How do you think like that experience it contributed to where you're at right now, contributed to your musicality?
So basically, how did choir contribute to
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that, like, there's kind of, like, I can think of, like, it's sort of sequential, I guess, to me in my mind. So, like, being in choir in middle school, elementary school, all that led to me eventually doing a cappella group, being in an a cappella group in college. And I feel like that's really where the kind of, like, that's, I can look back and say that has an influence on how I produce now.
Interesting.
Because basically when, you're in an a cappella group, sometimes you have the opportunity to, like, arrange the music that you're singing for your group. And so, like, you're taking an existing song and you're essentially transcribing it into something that, like, people can sing completely with just their voices.
Yeah.
And I feel like separating out, like, learning how to hear all the layers in a song and separate them all out so that I could arrange it is, like, that helped train me to then produce electronic music when you're thinking about the track and all of its, like, different parts.
Acapella parts are just stems.
Oh my god, yes! Exactly! Yes, they are.
The same thing.
So yeah, I feel like chorus to acapella to stems to producing, that's kind of how it all works.
I love that. That's like the perfect answer. I love that. And the other thing that's fascinating to me about you is that you fell into dance music like super late in life. Like, and you were 28. How do you think having all that life experience kind of helps prepare you for not just falling into dance music and kind of being a part of that community, but also being a producer as a dance music producer? You started way ahead of everybody in terms of mental fortitude to be able to handle this shit.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, on one level, like a more surface level, I feel like I got a lot of the partying out of my system.
Yes.
So, like, that has enabled me to now work in an industry that, from the outside looking in, looks very much like we're just partying all the time.
Right.
And just really not be so interested in that aspect of it anymore. Even though it's like, I'm around it, I don't really feel like I actually party. So, yeah, I feel like that has been a benefit because, I don't know if I could have survived being a DJ and a producer in this scene at like 21.
Oh, I'm so glad my career in music came after I got all of that shit over with, because I would have been a mess.
Exactly, I would have been a mess, and so, I got to avoid all that. But as far as maybe a little deeper of an answer, I just think having lived, life, having gone through some pain, some real, like, tough experiences, has just allowed me to draw from, like, a much deeper source when I'm writing my music and feeling the music and, like, melody and stuff. It's just, like, it comes from, like, a lot of pain.
Yeah.
It sounds sad to say, but it's, like, it's good pain.
No, that's good. I mean, you have lived experiences that you can put into your music, and when you were younger, it may have been a little bit more surface level. Yeah. You've matured into music in a way, like, way sooner in your career, and most people have to wait like a decade for that to happen.
In terms of, like, my emotional maturity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so something else I love about you too is you're not just a producer, you're a storyteller. It's something that I feel like there's a thread that runs through your music that's, you know, not just your own vocals, but you feel like a storyteller. Dance music isn't necessarily strongly associated with storytelling. So how do you see that functioning in your own music, like being a storyteller?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's just like storytelling. I mean, first of all, like I love listening to other great storytellers. I love movies. I mean, movies are just one really elaborate, beautiful, you know, story.
Yeah.
And so, because I appreciate that so much, I think it's something that I try and mirror. And it's like it's not even something I'm doing on purpose. I think inherently, like I like to be a storyteller.
Yes.
And so your question was, how does that? Sorry. Can you just repeat
How does it
the question?
function, like within your place of dance music?
That's a great question. I think it's just like you said, it's just inherent. Like I don't know if they could be separated. Like I feel like I'm living my life every day, kind of just like, how should I say this? I feel like the music that I'm making and recording and all that stuff, like it's just kind of going hand in hand with my like real life existence.
Yeah.
Going through life, and the music is just a mirror of like how I'm really just living. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm just telling my like personal story every day through like every like step forward that I take, whether that's like a new gig in a new place or a new city or a new development, like my first headline. You know, like it's all just part of this ongoing story that's like just my real life. I don't know.
I love that.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does. And which kind of leads me to my next question. So your recent release, Somebody, you talked about how this is your first solo release in over a year, which is a long time. I mean, it's not in the grand scheme of things, but for a dance music producer, it can seem like a long time when you have like a release cycle that's every month for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you said that you want to make sure that you're telling the SOHMI story the right way because you had something planned out for yourself when you first started this. What's that story that you're telling? How do you see that? How do you see this new release fitting into it?
I think the story is one is on a personal level, and then just what we talked about is kind of just allowing and like I guess my fans and everybody to kind of come along for like the ride easily. And the ride being kind of just my journey through an experience of like this journey of music.
Yeah.
So that's part of the story. The other part is sonically. You know, I think I wanted to make sure that along with the evolution that, you know, people can see me going through, I want them to be able to hear that same sort of evolution.
Yeah.
Like the maturity of the sound or like the production quality, everything, you know?
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that they're like moving in tandem so that, you know, everything makes sense together. So yeah, like, you know, I think Somebody is very much sort of in the same vein as all of my previous releases. There's an energy there that's always like sort of like a through line, but
Right.
it's a little different.
Yeah, there's a creative evolution happening.
Yeah. It's more vocally driven. That's
Yeah,
something
it is.
that I'm focused on going forward. I think I've been a little maybe shy to really showcase that aspect of my musicianship.
It's such a fantastic part of your musicianship. Why would you not want to?
You know, that's a great question. I think part of it is having maybe imposter syndrome from having
Everybody has it.
but just from having started maybe a little bit later in my life, like
makes
in
sense.
this,
Yeah.
just wanting to make sure that I establish myself as a maybe producer first before, you know, I guess pushing forward the narrative that I'm also a vocalist. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's probably no really good words for it. And I'm just being insecure. I don't know.
Well, in any event, I'm happy to see that you're pushing forward with that because it's a great element to add. I mean, it's always been there, but it's nice to see more. Absolutely. So now we're gonna do the speed rounds. It's
Okay,
like
that wasn't just speed.
nope. This is the fun part now. These questions are completely absurd, by the way. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Right. What was your first thought this morning?
Already hard for me. Honestly, it was like how tired I am.
That's an answer. I like it.
I'm being real.
Would you rather hear your favorites, never hear your favorite song again, or be forced to play your least favorite song in every set that you play forever?
Oh my god.
I mean, this depends on what your least favorite song is.
I know, because like, how bad is it going to be right now? No. Okay, no. I would rather do that, I think, because the thought of never hearing my favorite song ever again sounds
Like heartbreaking, right? Absolutely. Would you rather only be able to whisper or only be able to shout?
whisper. I'm kind of a quiet person, so the thought of always shouting is like antithetical to my being in this world.
Love it. What's your favorite food to eat in San Francisco?
I just had some delicious pasta. I don't know if that's my favorite in San Francisco, but
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I mean, pasta is my favorite food in any city.
Because most people, when I say San Francisco, they say sushi. And I'm allergic to seafood, so that doesn't work for me.
No way.
Yeah. No, all water animals, actually.
Water animals.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure they do.
That I'm saving a life.
Yes. I don't think they like me very much because I love sushi.
If I looked at your recently played tunes on Spotify, what would you want to hide?
I don't know if I necessarily hide it, but like maybe the fact that I've been listening to Taylor Swift.
Okay, we have to talk about this because I didn't think I liked Taylor Swift, and I have to admit that I never actually paid any attention to her. And I heard the song on the radio, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a banger. I like this. Yes. The writing, her lyrics are so good. And then I was like, let me listen to this album. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's good. I've been missing out.
There's a reason that she's Queen Taylor.
Oh my gosh, she's so good. You should not be embarrassed about that.
Okay, great. Thank
No,
you.
I'm right there with you. What sound or noise do you love?
I love a really round, plucky, like bass line sound. So specific, but like really just I think
Beautifully specific.
I hope you know.
Yes, I know. Yes, I do. I love it. And then last question, what's worse? Random people you haven't spoken to in years hitting you up for guest lists, or a hangnail?
I'm crying. These questions are laughing. You were right, this was fun.
Told you. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me out in the cold in San Francisco.
It added to the absurdity of everything.
Absolutely, right? Thank you so much, and bye.